Hey, what's good, Ocean Squad? It's me, Rashad, and I'm happy to see y'all. All right, let me tell y'all what's been up. Shout out to everybody who stuck with me for my weekly video schedule. I'm gonna try and keep that going on from this point, but I can't make a promise, y'all, because y'all be having me busy, man. Last time I seen y'all was about 2 weeks ago, so I broke the little schedule right after February end, but with good cause, y'all. So I went to New York, you know what I'm saying? And I just got back from New York about 2 weeks ago, and y'all swamped me with 3WP brush orders, and then I dropped new brushes too at that. Let me show y'all the new brushes that I dropped. The first brush I want to show y'all is this red edition, essentially the red edition 2.0. This one is square. My other red edition is actually an oval brush. The difference between this red edition right here and the old red edition is simply the bristle lineup. This one has the oval shape, and then the bristle lineup is linear right here, but then it curves when you get to the edges. This red edition 2.0 is square, and it has linear bristle alignment horizontally and vertically. So that's the main differences. Also, the red square brush has an engraved logo. This logo is engraved. You hear that? That ain't never coming off. But yeah, that's the first new brush. The second new brush right here. Let me show y'all what this sky blue edition look like. Now this is a softer medium brush right here. Not to get confused with my other 3WP brushes like my green edition, which are true mediums or firm mediums. This one, the bristles are medium, but they are slightly less firm. And also, I don't want to keep this the whole video on me talking about these new brushes, y'all. But I got the first ever flat 3WP brush right here. Take a look at this. You see that? There's no curve on these bristles right here. Now these are some good quality bristles on this brush right here. This is a medium brush. All right, Ocean Squad, I just wanted to talk to y'all about them new brushes, and we gotta talk about overwoofing because a lot of wavers experience this. Especially the beginners, man. Y'all always hitting me up like, man, I can't woof no more. I'm over curling. I'm over woofing, bro. Am I over woofing, man? What it look like? I'm about to tell you how to combat over woofing right now, y'all. There's things that you could do to stop just basically the negative side of over woofing. All right, over woofing can be so pleasant. It could be a good thing. All right, you don't have to struggle through your over woof when you're trying to make that extra step for extra woofing weeks to get better progress. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be a drag. All right. So without further ado, y'all boost the like button. We about to get into the video. All right, let's get it.
Illustrated something wicked. We don't smoke the doobie, nigga, flick it. Fuck love if you ain't tryna go the distance. Sniffle on the coke and listen. Half these niggas feminine, the bitches. Bittersweet, they either cinnamon or citrus. Slithering with the snitches. That's the type of shit I had you missing. Stall him out a jab him from a distance. Keep jabbing him from a wing from the same side. All we know is gang slide.
So let's talk about it, Ocean Squad. Over woofing. It's a very confusing term. It's caused a lot of confusion in the wave game, man. All the beginners come up like, oh, I'm over woofing, blah, 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 blah. Oh, what is over woofing actually? Don't nobody know. But today, we about to figure it out. I'm about to let y'all know. I developed a definition for over woofing that we could all go by, y'all. Cause nobody really knew. We didn't have one single definition to what it is. And that's why there's so much confusion. And today, I'm about to let y'all know, Ocean Squad. We about to work together and we're about to discuss this. And at the end of this video, there's gonna be no confusion as to what overwoofing is. And we're gonna be able to tell if somebody's overwoofing just by looking. And I'm gonna let y'all know as we get further into the video though. But before we get into all that of being able to tell if somebody's overwoofing just by looking, let's talk about what overwoofing is. The definition that I had to come up with, it had to be developed in a way so that it can describe a various number of hair textures. That's just the simplest way I could say it, y'all. I tried to break it down real simple for y'all, man. Basically what I'm trying to say is, in the definition of overwoofing, we can't really say that it's an X amount of time that determines if you're overwoofing, because as we all know, different wavers with different hair types all reach different curl lengths at different points in time. Like, people's hair isn't the same, so we can't have one definition that essentially gives a direct answer to what overwoofing is. And we all know, we got basically 3 different types of waivers in the wave game. We got our coarse hair waivers, we got our medium hair waivers, and then we got our straight hair waivers. We're gonna go a little deeper into those 3 hair types further into the video, but I just had to introduce that at this current moment. So, overwoofing can be defined as the act of abstaining from a haircut beyond your normal haircut interval. Hear me out, hear me out. I'm gonna mention it again. Overwoofing, the act of abstaining from a haircut beyond your normal haircut frequency. Now, the example that I'm gonna give right here is basically with this calendar. Now, this is my case for me, all right? It is safe to say, people with the same hair type, hair tends to behave in a similar way. And that's why y'all hear me recommend that every waiver who has a coarse hair waiver with similar hair texture to me woof for at least 4 weeks. And I tell y'all, that's the optimal time to woof for people with coarse hair because that's just what I found through my, you know what I'm saying, trial and error. And that's why I currently only woof for 4 weeks on a normal basis. It is rare that I go beyond 4 weeks. Now, as I mentioned, there's basically 3 different curl types of waivers, or there's 3 different waivers. We got our coarse hair waivers that I'm gonna have a C right there. We got our medium hair waivers that I'm gonna have an M right there. And then we got our straight hair waivers. But as we know, this basically refers to type 4. So we're gonna put a 4 right there. That's C4 waivers. This is M3 waivers, and this is S2, meaning type 2 curl pattern, type 3 curl pattern, type 4 curl pattern. Now, if you are a coarse hair waiver with a hair texture similar to mine, your average woofing interval is going to be 4 weeks. All right, more give or take. I know different people have different hairs and what they could do, but on average, I'm gonna say it's about 4 weeks. If you disagree, let me know in the comment section. If you woof for more than 4 weeks on average, and you a coarse hair waiver with a hair texture similar to mine, let us know in the comment section, all right? We wanna see how many of y'all are out there, all right? This is a whole learning experience for all of us. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for everybody, so you're gonna have to speak up and let us know in the comment section. But I feel like it's safe to say 4 weeks is the minimum. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I do, because anytime after 4 weeks, I get minimal beneficial results of woofing. It's the law of diminishing returns, all right? Once I hit 4 weeks, if I'm going past that, 5 weeks would help me a little bit better, and 6 weeks would help me just a small bit over the benefits that I got from doing 5 weeks, all right? But the major benefits is going 4 weeks. And so that's my average woofing time 4. Now when I get to 5 weeks, that's when I'm considered over woofing, all right? And 6 weeks, I'm really over woofing right there. By the end of that 6th week, I'm gonna start to experience some uncontrollable over curl, all right? Now I'm 7 weeks in right now. I could go another week to go 8, but I'm getting my haircut tomorrow, all right? Stay tuned for that haircut video. But yeah, by the end of 6 weeks, which is going to be the 7th week, I'm ready to tap out. Now, it's a difference. Like I said, medium hair waivers or waivers with type 3 curl pattern, they have a different little thing that they can experience. So let's just say they got the haircut at the same time as a coarse hair waiver. Theirs is a little bit different. I feel like they go about 6 weeks on average. Easy, without experience any over curling. But it jumps a little bit. They could go 8 weeks easy. So by the time they get to 8 weeks, they're gonna start to notice that, you know what I'm saying, I might need a cut. And add a little bit more to that, by 10 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks, that's when they're gonna start to experience some over curling. Let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong. All right, now a straight hair waiver, they gonna come in here at 8. They could woof for 8 weeks easy, like it's cake, all right? But then it jumps up a little bit more. They could do 12 weeks like it's nothing, all right? And then we could go even further And we could just go ahead and say 16 right here. They're gonna start to feel like, okay, it's getting out of hand. It's gonna be harder for them to manage at that point. All right, and so that's just essentially what it is. The straighter your hair texture, the longer you'll be able to woof for. All right, the curlier your hair texture, the quicker you are to experience signs of over curling, because you got more curls. And once those curls start growing on top of each other, they start to get tangled up. And that's just what it is, all right? Boost that like button if you like that explanation and if it gave you some insight into just the world of over woofing and over curling. Let's go on to the next little subject. Let me, you know what I'm saying, use this whiteboard to give y'all a great example of the definition of over woofing, just to make it real clear and simple. So let's just say I got a haircut on the 1st right here, right? I personally won't get my haircut until week number 4, which is right here, the 31st, all right? That's 1 month apart. Now, for my beginners out there, I know a lot of y'all still be confused on even what is woofing. If you don't know what woofing is right now, you really lost. But look, I'm gonna explain what woofing is. So woofing is basically the act of abstaining from a haircut. Now, with these definitions right here, it's gonna become clear to you. Now, for y'all beginners, when you get your haircut, you're not woofing for this whole first week, all right? You're not woofing yet.
All right, Ultra Squad, I want to clear up all the confusion about woofing right now. Now, this confusion has built up over time just through the lack of one single agreed definition of what woofing is. But I can safely say now that majority of the wavers in the wave game agree that the definition of woofing is when you abstain from a haircut. Now, there was a lot of confusion around woofing because we didn't have an agreed upon definition. But now with this agreed upon definition, we can clearly see that you can technically woof for 1 week because you will be abstaining from a haircut from that point forward. Now, we all used to laugh if someone said they woofing for 1 week because technically we all were under the impression that you have not yet woofed. And yeah, we didn't agree that someone can be woofing for 1 week because we were all basically at the idea that you're not woofing until you get to the, let's just say, the 4th week, or the point in which your hair reaches a length that is optimal to cut again. And so if you say you woof for 1 week, we laugh because it's like you didn't really woof effectively. It's like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So keep watching and we're going to clear this up. Woofing is going to be so clear from this point forward.
Definition of woofing, you just take it and it describes the point in which you last got your hair cut. When you get there, that's when you say you've been woofing for 4 weeks, all right? So also you could say you've been woofing for 3 weeks with the regular definition of woofing. Now, when you effectively woofed, it's okay to cut your hair, all right? You are now woofed, but you can keep going, and I do recommend you keep woofing when you are a beginner for at least an extra week or 2 and get extra brush work in, because that's going to help you develop your waves. But at this point where I'm at, I noticed that when I woof for more than 4 weeks, I rarely get much more progress than if I would have got when I was woofing for 4 weeks. It's the law of diminishing returns, all right? That's what that's called. So if I woof for 5 weeks, it's barely gonna do any more than if I would have woofed for 4 weeks only, you know what I'm saying? Now, if I go 6 weeks, it's only slightly gonna give me better effects than if I only woof for 5 weeks. You see what I'm trying to say here? So, with all that being said, with my definition of over woofing, I would effectively be over woofing once I pass that 4th week. What y'all think about that? And that's my definition of over woofing. So I'm personally technically over woofing right now because I'm at week number 7. Now I want to tell you how to spot if somebody is over woofing just by looking. So there's 2 ways to be able to tell if somebody's over woofing. The first way is just by looking at their hair. Now, if you look at somebody's hair and you see that they're over curling in areas, that is a sign that they are over woofing. Now, don't get me wrong right here. Don't get the 2 confused. Over curling and over woofing are 2 different things. They're not the same thing. So please don't get it confused. You can over curl before you get to the point of over woofing. So you can over curl at 3 weeks if you're not putting in the brush work to keep your waves laid down. So I just want y'all to understand that over curling does not mean you're over woofing, but over curling is a sign of over woofing. With that being said, we gotta talk about the second way to be able to tell if somebody's over woofing. That is basically done by knowing their hair length or the length of their hair. Now you can't really just tell someone's hair length just by looking, unless you're probably like a trained barber, but like beyond that, it's hard to judge a waver's hair length because, you know what I'm saying, we keep our hair compressed, so you can't really tell how long our hair is just by looking at it at face value. So what I'm trying to say here is pretty much the length factor of being able to know if somebody's over woofing is basically something that you will come to understand when you, you know what I'm saying, you've been waving for a minute. That's simply what it is. Boost that like button from the Ocean Squad. I'm dropping the jewels. I'm clearing up the confusion. I'm gonna unrag right now for y'all and let y'all see what the waves is looking like. The last time I got my haircut was about 7 weeks ago, and I'm actually about to get it cut tomorrow. All right, stay tuned for that haircut video. Now, if we take a look at my waves right now, we can see that my top is aligned very nicely. It's not over curled. One thing I want to point out to y'all is that when you are over woofing, you're going to see over curling in some spots. The spots that you're going to see the most over curling at are your weak areas, because those spots do not get laid down as well. They're not trained to lay down as well as your strong sides, and that's why they start over curling at this length, or your over woofing length. As we get towards my side, we start to see some over curling, even towards like this area. Now, we got to understand what over curling is. Over curling is basically when your curls start to curl on top of each other and disturb your wave pattern because it's all tangled up. As we check my sides, we see that it's kind of puffy. It's over curled. It's crazy. Like, let me zoom this in, y'all. You could really see how much hair I got when I do that. It actually made it look like I didn't have waves. I'm gonna use this comb right here, see if it displays my length better. Whoa, that's an instant mohawk. Got me looking like Mr. T up in this thing. Comb that back down, grab my brush, brush that back into place. It went down pretty well, if I don't say so myself. It's that young fork breaker. Put that thing right back down like it never left. That's basically what over woofing is. It's synonymous with over curling. You can over curl before you reach the point of over woofing. And also, over woofing doesn't have to be a bad thing. If you keep your hair laid down and you keep putting in that consistent brush work, you're not gonna over curl like that. And that's just what it is, Ocean Squad. There's not much more to say. Is it? Let me think real quick. It's not much more to say. And that's what it is. Boost that like button for me, Wave family. I'm gonna see y'all in my next video. I'm gonna try to drop that next week. What else? I'm gonna go live before next week, so if I don't post the video, I'm gonna go live, you know what I'm saying? I might even go live and post the video, but I gotta see how my timing work out. If you want, cop one of those new 3WP brushes. I got a code for y'all for 10% off. The code is I'm so wavy, all right? Use that code at checkout, 10% off your 3WP brush order for the new brushes that I just dropped, all right? Deuces.